Assire var Anahid of Vicovaro was a Nilfgaardian sorceress like any other. Her hands were marked by yellow spots, her fingernails were broken, uneven and clearly bitten. She had a pale face with thin, bluish lips and a somewhat hooked nose. On her head balanced a strange, conical and slightly crumpled hat on top of dark, not very fresh-looking hair. She wore shapeless, black, baggy robes, embroidered on the shoulders with frayed silver thread, the only decoration she wore at all. And always by her side was her black cat named Merlin. Yes, Assire was a Nilfgaardian sorceress like any other, except that she was invited to join the Lodge of Sorceresses one day. The Lodge of Northern Sorceresses, who were taken aback by her appearance almost immediately. Of course, it wasn't really up to Assire. Nilfgaardian sorceresses were not allowed to make themselves look beautiful, as it displayed flightiness and superficiality of the mind. And speaking of things they weren't allowed to do, this meeting was one of them. The consequences for even responding to the invitation at all could prove catastrophic for her, something she pointed out quite immediately when Sabrina Glevesig accused her of spying on them for Emir. Assire also fired back that, the lodge as it was, seemed to consist of only northern sorceresses, questioning the supposed neutrality of the lodge at all. They assured her that the organization would put magic first, of course, even though they didn't want Nilfgaard to win any wars, lest they all look like Assire in the future. But she was also welcome to invite a second Nilfgaardian sorceress. Assire blushed faintly, but accepted nonetheless. She decided to invite Fringilla Vigo, a friend of hers, to join the lodge alongside her. Fringilla, who was mighty surprised to find Assire one day having washed and styled her hair, wearing a nice dress and all that came with it. She had decided that she wanted to be beautiful, and as a mage, that meant she now simply was. They discussed various other topics, like Cahir, who was in fact related to Assire by blood, but also Ciri, who Fringilla had already figured was a bigger deal than she initially thought. Together, they realized that the Ciri currently residing at the Nilfgaardian court was in fact a fake one. This information would certainly cast a positive light on them during the next lodge meeting, and so, during said meeting, Assire came prepared. To her surprise, she also got along with the northern sorceresses better than she'd initially thought. She especially enjoyed the company of Sheila de Tansarville, because they were both scholars. Assire herself had a good grasp on genetics, and as such, their discussions regarding the elder blood were certainly made a great deal smoother. Assire's help proved invaluable to the lodge eventually, as she had access to a very talented spy called Carthia van Canten, also known as Cantarella, who she had spy on Vache de Rideau, the Nilfgaardian spy master. Another one of her spies kept an eye on Ciri, and was even responsible for allowing her to escape the claws of her enemies in the end. Through her little spy network, Assire managed to feed the Lodge Nilfgaardian army maneuvers and other state secrets that normal Nilfgaardian sorceresses certainly weren't privy to. Unfortunately, her spies must have ran out by the time we meet her again during The Witcher 2. When she is brought to Loch Muin by Nilfgaard to aid in decompressing Triss Merigold so that Shillard Fitz-Ustalen might interrogate her. Little did Assire know, Nilfgaard had already learned of the lodge and her involvement in it, and so she is unceremoniously stabbed to death by that same Nilfgaardian ambassador. Another corpse in the rivers of Loch Muin. We will assume that her cat Merlin left for greener pastures.
I'm sure you're not surprised, but we're not doing skits at the end cards today either. I am so sorry. My Patreons are getting titles today. I hope you appreciate those too. Walguy the Illustrious, Robertson the Enlightened, Loch Muin the Fierce, MJ Coolsta the Impressive, Septic the Cattist, Mike Zweers the Unrelenting, Adrian Peckle the Impeccable, Ray the Fortuitous, Freeman the Wise,